Hi, kids and adults. So, today for our craft, we're going to find out how you can make an apple into a pumpkin. And you don't need a fairy godmother to do it. All you need are some craft items. I also want to do first, though, a little discussion with you because I know that school is restarting. So this is a discussion for kids and parents and even community members with no kids or grandkids. Because this is a prayer that needs to be lifted. Our kids are returning to a whole different environment. And kids, let me say that every year is different. You know that. Every year you go to school, it's a little scary. There might be a new kid there. You might be the new kid there that year. There will be a new teacher. You're wondering if your friends still like you. All that stuff is normal, and it's okay to be afraid. But this year, I know that there's some other stuff, and you're probably noticing that your parents aren't sure always of what's going on, and that's okay too. Parents don't always know every answer. Oop! Owen came up to say hi, because he wants to help too. Well, say hi. That it is a little scary every time that you go back to school, we know that. And with Corona, that might mean that sometimes some of you are going to face a different type of classroom, where you're going to have to wear something over your face, like a mask, or you might have to sit behind glass and sometimes, and you may not get to sit as close to your friend as you want, or if you're on the school bus, you loved sitting with your friend, but maybe you can't do that now, or maybe you're getting taught at home, and that's new, other than what you did in the spring. You'd never done that before, and we definitely had hoped you could have been back and not had to be worried about any of that. But there's a lot of stuff going on right now in our world. And so I just want you to know that it's okay to be a little bit afraid. It's okay to be a little bit afraid. That it's okay to not always think you know exactly what's going on. And it's okay for your parents to feel that way too. That sometimes in life, this is a great example. Right here, kids, you see this? Owen is not doing what I asked him to do, which was sit still. See, sometimes in life people don't always do what we think they're going to do. And so sometimes things change. And that's tough. Change is hard for everybody, even adults, maybe even more for the adults. They're not as good as it as you are. But I want you to know it's okay and that you're not alone. We love you and we care about you and we're praying for you. And that this whole community is thinking of you. And we know that it's going to be a challenging couple first days getting into it, but then once you get into it, you'll figure it out because you're smart and you'll know how to do it. So to the parents, know that I know it's been hard making decisions, and whatever decision you made was the best one I know that you thought you could make at the time, and that's all you can do. All you can do is just try to make the best decisions in life. And then just trust that God's walking with you through whatever happens. And to all those kids and students and professors and teachers and staff at everywhere from the kindergartens to the colleges really need your prayers. So we just ask that you bow your heads with me for a minute. We're going to pray. Dear God, we know that learning is so important. Jesus Christ, it even says, grew in wisdom. He grew in learning too. So we know we're supposed to do that. And sometimes it's not always easy. Sometimes school is scary. Sometimes there's bullies. Sometimes there's health issues like now. Sometimes there's new people that we don't know and we're afraid to make friends with. But sometimes we find once we get over that, it gets much easier. God, we ask that you bless all of those who are going back to school right now. That you be with them, that you take care of them, and that you let them know that we love them and that you love them. In your name we pray. Amen. Yes, I know. You want to be shown. So turn around and look at people. Say hi. Can you look at people? Can you say hi? Right there? No? Alright. Sorry, gang. He's decided that there's his smile at you. He's decided that any direction he's not going to sit still in for craft today. Because he wants to do the craft. So let's do the craft. But before we do the craft, I want you to go online. Because you're probably wondering, Pastor Shannon, why are we doing pumpkins? Well, if you have been to the store lately, you'll probably see that fall is coming. I know, I'm not ready either for it. And so shout out to people like Lisa, our own Lisa, who makes fall donuts at Dunkin' Donuts, and others of you who are stocking shelves with things like pumpkin Cheerios or maple Oreos. It is a fun time to see all the new stuff on it, and one of the biggest ones is pumpkin stuff. Pumpkin drinks, pumpkin cookies, pumpkin candies, pumpkin bath smelly stuff, right? So, why pumpkin today? Well, being a Christian is like being a pumpkin. and I put a picture on there for you that you can learn later on. We're going to think about those Bible verses, though, together. So the first one it says is, being a Christian is like being a pumpkin. God picks you from the patch and brings you in. And that's from John 15:16. So if you look at John 15:16, you're going to hear a verse kind of like that, where Jesus reminds us that he picks us up, that we're his chosen fruits, and that we're his chosen harvest. And the harvest is like the good things in life. I know you want to be seen. Okay. He said, I'm going to be seen. All right. That we're his chosen people, that we're his chosen harvest. And then we know that God, number 2, then washes all the dirt off of you. 2 Corinthians 5:17. So not only are we the ones God chooses, but we're also the ones that God's going to take up from where we are and fix us a little bit, making us even better Christians, making us even better people. Then he opens you up and scoops out all the yucky stuff. He removes the seeds of doubt, hate, greed, etc. Romans 6:6. And all these are going to be on the screen for you on another picture, okay? So what is that about? Well, God looks inside our hearts and says, what's in there? What are you thinking? Good thoughts? Are you thinking things that aren't so good? And God says, I'm going to help you be a better person. And it takes some of our stresses away, some of our things that make us scared or mad, and just takes them right up, just like you get the gooey parts of the pumpkin out, right? And throw it out. And instead brings that light inside of us, just like a jack-o'-lantern. Then he carves you a new smiling face. Let me see your faces. Right? Make all those silly faces, but let's see your smile. Right? Where's those good teeth? Oh, look at those smiles. Right? What does a smile mean? A smile means you're happy and you're joyful, and God wants us to smile. And he puts his light inside you to shine for all the world to see. Matthew 5:6. So you're that light, that you're the one shining. Here in Littleton, we have a river walk where there's lots of lights that go around and candles inside pumpkins. And they see all the different jack-o'-lanterns, all those lights shining. And think about if you were walking around like a jack-o'-lantern with a shining light. Sounds pretty cool, right? So I'm thinking maybe we should make some pumpkins. But maybe you don't have pumpkins in the neighborhood yet. Some of you do. I know some of you already have them at your house. You're so good. But I had a lot of apples at the house. So I said, what can I do with an apple? And you know, today we're going to turn an apple into a pumpkin. So what you have to do first is get an apple, right? Now, if you have apples at your house, maybe that one's not too bad, but they're getting some like browner on them a little bit. These are pretty good, actually. I went through and I just picked some because I wanted to cut them. But now this next piece is you're going to have Mom and Dad get a knife and do the cutting for you because it's a little bit sharp. So I'm going to take you and I'm going to switch you and we're going to look at the craft, okay? Here we go. All right. So you're seeing from a different angle now, okay? All right, and this is a wood cutting board. All right, and so I'm going to use this to take my apple and my knife, and I'm going to slice down. And one thing about it is you want to slice right kind of through the middle, and that's tough, okay? So because of that, now that you see what I'm doing, I'm going to reverse you. So you're going to hold out with me for just a minute. I'm going to have you look up at me. Hello. While I cut this straight down because I don't want to make a mistake and get hurt, okay? And then I'll take you back to look at it. But I got to use both hands because it's tough to cut it through the middle, which is what we want here, though. All right. So now I've got two halves. I'm going to do another one of them just because I might want it a different direction. So I'll show you what I mean when we're done with it. And I'm going to leave that third one because I don't want to waste too many of them. But I'm thinking maybe this one will give me a different shape. Okay. And that one wasn't as good an apple anyways. So, all right. So now I have 4 here. And you can see I kind of tilted it a little bit, but that'll give us lots to work with. A little bit of different shapes. One's a little bit bigger than the other, right? One's got all kinds of different things, okay? So, what we're going to do is I'm going to move that seed out of the way. And we've got our pumpkin shapes already. See? A pumpkin kind of has that top part and sit part. And like I said, feel free to use the apples that are going bad a little bit because you're not going to eat them. But if you do just have good apples, that's all right too. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our orange paint. All right. And I'm going to put the orange paint. You can put it to the side. I'm going to use a piece of paper. And I'm going to put some orange paint down on the paper. Okay. Alright. I'm going to take a brush. Now this time I'm going to use a sponge brush because this is a really easy one for any age to use. Okay, and I'm just going to brush over this. Alright. And it's okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's why I'm just putting it on here. You'll see what I mean in a minute, okay? One thing these craft lessons have taught me is how challenging it is to do things with one hand. Look at that pumpkin moving all around. Do you see it already starts to look at like a pumpkin, doesn't it? Yeah, alright. Okay, so now I've got my pumpkin coated with this really bright orange fluorescent color. Alright, put this back. Get my sheet of paper here. Okay, and this is the fun part. So I'm going to get my sheet of paper. I'm going to put it down here. Then I'm going to take my orange apple, right? And I'm going to flip it over and push it down. Alright, then pull back up. Ooh, alright. And maybe what I might even do is come under it and really push it down, okay? Whoa, to make sure you get the paint all over. Because that one's cool, but it's not as colorful as I'd like. Alright, oh, there we go. We're starting to see it more. So keep pressing it down, and it's okay if you get it on your fingers. That's part of the fun, too. Just try not to get on too much of your parents' stuff. Alright, see, I'm going to come at it this way. Alright, so sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And that's just like a regular stamp. Okay. Well, now, remember, I said that I had the really bright orange. But what if I didn't want such a bright orange? What if I wanted maybe a darker orange? Alright, I've got paint all over my hands. So give me a second here while I blend it in. Oh, look at those cool orange fingers. Alright, so that I can hold my phone with it. And get this other paint down here. Alright, so here's the cool thing about orange paint. You can make it if you want a different color. All you need is some yellow, and we're going to get that going down here in a minute, and some red. Both the colors today that we're using you can make from pretty basic colors, so you should have this stuff at home. Other than you may have to get an apple. Alright, there's our red. Alright. Sorry gang, I'm trying to do this. Say, come on Shannon. Wow, look at that. I did not shake that red ahead of time, and look what happened. It's separated because it was the top of the paint stuff, so we'll have to get a little more. Okay. We'll see what that color looks like, though. Alright, so I'm going to use that same brush, because why not? And I'm going to say, what is this color going to turn into? Oh, but see, because that red didn't have enough red in it, I'm going to have to shake it and throw a little more red in there. Okay. And red is pretty strong, so it's already starting to take over, so we're going to have to be careful. I'm like, oh no, I may have overdone the red. And that's part of the fun of making and mixing your own colors of paint. That does mean, though, you end up getting a lot of different piles of paint. So we're going to put a little more yellow in there. I guess I'm just going to have to do a lot more of these. Alright. I think we're getting our orange, though. Oh, there we go. Look at that orange. Alright, that's a great pumpkin orange. Okay. So, I'm going to push my brush into that. And now I'm going to take that smaller apple that we had. I'm going to coat it with that funny yellowish orange and red color. Alright. Alright. Okay, we got it. Now we're going to pick this up and we're going to bring it back to our paper. Take it, flip it down, push on it, and we did find last time that it was better if you came up under it, so let's try that again. Ooh, with my fingers and hand, push on it. Okay, now let's see what happens. Ooh, that one looks awesome. So look at those. We'll do one more right here. Flip it, tilt it to the side. Pick up the paper. Wow, okay. Alright. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to save those and use them for a little bit later on another project, and you can do that. You can do whatever you want. Do not eat them, though, probably, because it's paint and it's gross. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is get some green paint going. Now, if you didn't have green paint at home, all you have to do is mix yellow and blue, and that will make green. Alright. I'm going to take a little of this green paint, come back over here. There it is, green paint. Alright, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to leave you over here for a minute though, because you're going to see. I'm going to use a smaller brush this time. See, I don't need a big brush like that spongy one. I'm not coating anything. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here. And pumpkins have that really big one, and then sometimes they'll have little things going out like that. Okay, let's try that again. Ready? A big one here, maybe this one's got a really big one, right? And maybe even it goes up to the side, because sometimes they do when they cut them off. Right? Oh yeah, that's good. Okay. Alright, and then maybe come over here, and when you get this guy, maybe his is like real long, almost even into it, with then a little thing coming out of it. Okay. Alright. And this guy's kind of cool, even though he didn't do the whole way. I just give him like a little spot there. And then right up here, we're gonna go maybe make it, the orange mixed in. That's kind of cool. Maybe his is coming like down. Maybe he's got, all kinds of things. Ooh, cool. So look at that. That is how we make apples into pumpkins. Alright, friends. I hope that you had a fun time in getting ready for fall. You can go back through and you could make faces on them. You could use markers to do that, or stickers. You could just hang it up like this and show your pumpkins this way. You can do it however you want, because it's your art. But remember, Christians are like pumpkins. God picks us and puts a light in us. Alright, have a great week.